From international hotel brand executives, local investors to government and other stakeholders, the forum was a clear affirmation of Africa's growing economic potential and as the last economic frontier.
Africa at the moment is like a giant game of Monopoly. There are all the big brands, investors rushing here with money in their back pockets looking to build hotels. Now why? Why are they doing that? If you look back on a wider time horizon, let's say back 20 years, back 30 years, Africa was a continent that was at war. You know, so many countries in Africa, people were fighting people, you had horrible atrocities, I mean, nobody came here. But it is dramatic how the continent has changed. You know, in the last decade or so, it's become a peaceful continent. If you look at Africa, economic growth is about 5%. Now that's double, or in some cases triple, the developed Western economies. It's close up to the fast-growing, exciting Asian economies.
Tourism leveraging on international conferences, commonly known as MICE tourism, is a segment that has over the years remained untapped. But how has its growth been hindered?
We do not have facilities large enough to take up the very big conferences. In fact, we have to turn some away, which is a pity. But I think now we're into it, we can develop it, and it is part of the Vision 2030.
We are bringing the MICE segment because, you know, we understand the crisis. We understand the crisis. Those companies used to go to these 5-star hotels, 4-star hotel, cannot afford it anymore. So they're having a major problem. So now we bring to them, at a cost that they can afford, the same service that they used to have in a 5-star hotel. And this is how we're completely different.
Once explode, this segment will have a trickle-down effect on the industry through job creation, leisure tourism, and an overall impact on increased forex earnings for countries.
Conference facilities for the MICE market need to be provided for by the government. Then they control it, and the hotels provide the accommodation for the people. Like this conference here, in absence of having a proper conference center, is held in a hotel that is not really, it's a 40-year-old hotel, it's certainly trying very hard, but it's not competing with international venues for the MICE market. And this is where the money is, you know. Then it never goes bad everywhere, and it never goes bad in all segments. So if tourism goes down, you can pump up the MICE or the business. Usually when business is down, business people travel more, not less, because they have to hustle and run, and you know, you have consultants and bankers and advisors and auditors and all kinds of people that are traveling.
Governments, however, have a critical role to play in facilitating investors and tourists alike, while at the same time providing adequate infrastructural capacities.
One of the biggest problems we have is water and power. So an investment becomes more expensive because either the investor has to put up a borehole or put in a generator. Some locations are quite remote and do not have these facilities, but have the tourism potential. So I think if we get that right, we probably won't have any challenges at all, because we have the human capital, we have people ready to invest.
If it is made difficult for people to come, be it as a leisure visitor or be it as a businessman, then you say, well, do I really need this? You know, so the governments now really have to make an effort, because this goes on since years, to open up the borders, to open up facilities for investors, to make life simple. Because when you have money to invest, or when you invest in managing properties, you want to go where life is made easy, not where life is made complicated, because life is too short to spend too much time on one deal when you can make 5 in another place.
Experts, however, note that the growth of international hotel management chains is gaining traction on the back of a vibrant middle class, although the penetration rate is slow in several countries.
When middle classes grow, and indeed in Africa they are growing, the African Development Bank says that the 300 million in middle class across the whole of Africa today is likely to double over the next 20 to 25 years. the first thing that people who make the transition to middle class do is want to travel to see family and friends, and then travel regionally and then travel internationally. So the demand for hotel product is there, and we're really here to respond to that demand.
Brand presence in any country, actually, what it does is it ups the game for the standards of that particular country. What it is that most travelers today identify their travel with a certain brand. So if you have those brands in your country, you get, I would say, a large number of tourists coming because they know that in that country we can stay in this type of hotel at this standard. So the impact on Kenya, we can see from last year, the conference that we held was so large that already we have 4 new brands that have come in.
As Africa awakens to numerous economic growth prospects, the hospitality industry is being eyeballed by many due to its promise of high returns.
We believe in Africa, we trust in Africa, we believe that Africa is on the right track, and the Africans have an advantage because you can learn from the mistakes that have been made in other places and can shortcut the process.